The calm before the storm, the sky over Earth was peaceful. The sun shone brightly over the vast oceans and endless fields, but something in space was about to change that. Far beyond the reach of Earth's skies, a fleet of alien ships had gathered. They were part of a massive invasion force, ready to strike. The aliens, a powerful galactic empire, had watched Earth from the shadows for centuries. They believed humanity was weak, primitive, and easy to conquer. Now, they were ready to act. The Galactic Council, a group of the universe's most powerful alien leaders, had decided that Earth would be their next target. They thought the planet was defenseless, filled with only fragile humans who had never known true war. They believed that the Council's vast fleet would crush Earth in a matter of days. But they had no idea what awaited them. Back on Earth, things seemed calm. People were going about their daily lives, unaware of the threat that loomed in the stars. Cities were bustling, factories were working, and families were enjoying the simple pleasures of life. But in the shadows, a quiet preparation had been underway for many years. No one knew, not even the most powerful leaders on Earth, what was truly hidden beneath the surface. Humanity had been preparing for this moment, gathering knowledge and power in secret. Scientists, engineers, and military leaders had come together, working in the shadows to create technology that would change the course of history. Weapons more advanced than anything the aliens had ever seen. Ships designed to withstand the fiercest attacks. And most importantly, humans had been learning how to fight, how to survive, and how to protect their home from any threat. The alien fleet, consisting of thousands of warships, began its journey to Earth. The Council was confident. Their fleet was unmatched in size and firepower. They had seen the way Earth's technology had progressed, but they believed the humans were still far behind. The Council's fleet had weapons capable of destroying entire planets, and they were certain that this battle would be over before it even began. As the alien ships neared Earth, the invasion force began to divide into smaller groups. Some ships would target major cities, others would strike military bases, and some would go straight for Earth's communication satellites. They had a plan, and they were about to carry it out. In the quiet command center, hidden beneath the Earth's surface. Human leaders were preparing for what seemed like an impossible battle. The moment the aliens entered Earth's orbit, all the hidden weapons and fleets would be activated. But they weren't just relying on military strength. They had a secret weapon, a technology so advanced that it could shift the balance of power in the galaxy. It was a weapon they had spent years developing in silence, waiting for the right moment to reveal it. Commander Sarah Williams, the leader of Earth's defense forces, stood in front of a large digital map. She looked at the screen, her face tense but determined. The alien fleet was coming closer by the minute, and Earth had only moments before the battle began. "We knew this day would come," she said to the group of officers around her. "Now, we must be ready. We've prepared for this. We have everything we need to win." But even she couldn't shake the feeling of dread that had settled in her stomach. No one truly knew what the aliens were capable of. Their weapons were unlike anything humans had ever faced. It was one thing to be prepared, but it was another to face an enemy with the power to wipe out entire civilizations. "We won't let them take Earth," she said firmly. "We fight for our future." As the alien ships grew nearer, the countdown to battle began. The world's leaders were in constant communication, watching the skies for any signs of movement. News outlets reported on the alien fleet's approach, but no one really understood the gravity of the situation. People thought the alien ships were just a threat, not realizing that this was the beginning of something far more dangerous. At the same time, the secret fleets hidden beneath the oceans and deep in Earth's deserts were preparing for battle. Thousands of human warships, built in complete secrecy, powered up their weapons and prepared to launch. The moment the aliens attacked, Earth would fight back. In space, the alien fleet continued its approach. The Council's commanders exchanged messages, planning their next moves. They were eager to destroy humanity once and for all, to wipe out what they saw as a nuisance in the galaxy. They were ready to send Earth's population into oblivion. But what the aliens didn't know was that they had made a grave mistake. They had underestimated humanity's ability to adapt, to fight, and to survive. They had no idea what humanity had in store for them. As the alien fleet reached the edge of Earth's atmosphere, the countdown to invasion began. The invaders believed victory was certain. Earth would fall before their might. But the humans had already started to fight back, silently and secretly. Earth's wrath was about to be unleashed, and the invaders would soon learn that invading Earth was a mistake they would never forget. The battle was about to begin, and it would change the fate of the galaxy forever. Earth's hidden power. The alien fleet hovered in Earth's orbit, its massive ships casting shadows over the planet. Thousands of warships, each capable of reducing a city to rubble, prepared to descend and carry out their orders. The alien commanders were confident Earth's defenses were weak, its technology primitive by galactic standards. They believed the invasion would be over in a matter of hours, but they were wrong. On the surface, everything appeared calm. The world watched in horror as the alien ships came closer, broadcasting their message: surrender now or face total annihilation. The message echoed across the globe, sending waves of panic and fear. But for the first time, the people of Earth weren't completely helpless. Humanity had a secret, a plan that had been set into motion long before the first alien ship had entered the solar system. In deep underground bunkers, in military bases hidden across deserts, and beneath oceans, the true power of Earth began to awaken. These were places where the public had no idea of the technology being developed, spaces where governments, scientists, and engineers worked together in secrecy, building an arsenal of weapons far beyond anything the invaders could imagine. Hidden fleets, cloaked from satellite eyes, began to power up, their engines roaring to life as human forces mobilized. Commander Sarah Williams, standing in her command center, gazed at the holographic map of the Earth's defenses. The alien ships were now only hours away. But instead of feeling panic, there was only calm determination in her eyes. This was the moment. The secret weapon, the one thing the aliens hadn't expected, was finally ready. "Activate the countdown for the hidden fleet," she ordered. Her voice was steady, but there was a spark of anticipation behind her words. She knew Earth had been preparing for this very day for decades. The invaders thought they knew everything about humanity, but they hadn't been watching closely enough. They hadn't seen the small, hidden signs of what Earth was truly capable of. On the other side of the planet, hidden in a desert facility, human scientists had been working tirelessly on a new form of technology, a technology capable of manipulating the very fabric of space itself. It was a weapon, not of fire and explosions, but of space-time. A weapon that could bend light, twist gravity, and strike down entire fleets with a single wave. They called it the chronofield. The chronofield was designed to shift the perception of time, freezing moments in place or compressing them to create devastating shockwaves. The scientists had kept it a secret, knowing that if the aliens ever learned about it, they would stop at nothing to destroy it. But now the time had come to use it. As Earth's hidden forces prepared, the alien fleet began its descent, breaking through Earth's upper atmosphere. Their commanders ordered the first wave of attacks, targeting major cities, military bases, and communication centers. They unleashed their full arsenal, sending beams of energy and explosive firepower toward Earth. The first explosions rocked the Earth's surface. But what the invaders hadn't expected was the response. Earth's warships, hidden beneath the clouds and deep in the oceans, erupted into action. They were ready. Human fleets rose from the depths, launching counterattacks. With precision, the first alien ship that attempted to bombard a city was immediately disabled by a focused pulse of energy, sending it spiraling into the atmosphere. Earth's fleets had not only been waiting, they had been training for this day, learning how to counter every move the aliens might make. Back at the command center, Commander Williams watched the holographic map update in real time. The alien fleet's ships, which once seemed unstoppable, were now being picked off one by one. Earth's weapon systems, designed to be stealthy and quick, were wreaking havoc on the invaders. "Humanity's not as weak as you think, Commander," Williams muttered under her breath, her eyes narrowing as she watched the invaders scramble to regroup. But the aliens weren't giving up that easily. Their commanders, watching the chaos unfold from their flagship, ordered a change in tactics. They weren't just going to invade now. They would wipe out humanity's hope by targeting Earth's power grid, communications, and military command centers. They were playing a dangerous game, and the stakes were higher than ever. Still, the invaders had underestimated the human spirit. Earth had been through wars, disasters, and struggles, and had always come out stronger. The aliens believed that they could break Earth, but they had overlooked one crucial thing. Humanity would never give up. They would fight with everything they had to protect their home, their people, and their future. Back in the shadows, as the battle raged, the chronofield was activated. Its effect was immediate and terrifying. The fabric of space twisted, and the alien fleet found itself trapped in a loop of time. For a brief moment, the invaders were frozen in place, unable to move or fight back. The time field ripples surged across the atmosphere, knocking out entire fleets and causing confusion. In the alien ranks, it was a game changer, one the aliens couldn't have predicted. Humanity had just turned the tide. "Now," Commander Williams said, her voice filled with resolve, "now we finish this." The hidden forces of Earth were ready to show the galaxy just what humanity was capable of. Asterisk, the wrath of humanity, the alien fleet, disoriented and shaken by the sudden temporal disruption, scrambled to regain control. Their systems flickered as they tried to adapt to new and unexpected reality. But it was too late. Earth's counterattack had already begun. The alien flagship, once a symbol of invincibility, was now drifting in the cold expanse of space, trapped in the time loop created by the chronofield. Its crew was frozen in place, unable to move or fire upon the human warships that were now swarming around them like a swarm of hornets. The invaders had underestimated humanity's ability to fight back, and now they were paying the price. Commander Sarah Williams stood at the helm of Earth's largest warship, the Valiant Fury, watching the chaos unfold. She could see the shock and fear on the alien faces, even from a distance. Their once proud fleet was faltering, and humanity was taking its first steps toward victory. "We've got them on the ropes," Sarah muttered, her hands gripping the command console. "But don't get too comfortable. They'll retaliate soon." The alien commanders, realizing they were losing control, issued an emergency broadcast to their forces. It was clear in their voices. This wasn't just an invasion anymore. This was a war for survival. They weren't just fighting for conquest. They were fighting to stay alive. But the humans weren't about to let up. Earth's warships, powered by advanced technology and fueled by a burning desire to protect their planet, closed in on the alien forces. Every ship, every fighter, every last resource was now being poured into the battle. "Engage all weapon systems," Sarah ordered, her voice steady as the battle raged outside the ship. "Take down their fleet one by one." The battle was fierce. Earth's warships moved with incredible speed and precision, dodging the alien attacks while firing back with deadly force. The invaders were no longer confident. They were panicking. Earth's fleet wasn't just defending. They were attacking. with everything they had. The humans knew that if they didn't win this battle, their world would be lost forever. One by one, alien ships exploded into flames, their debris scattering across the heavens. The aliens had never expected such resistance. Their weapons were powerful, but human determination was stronger. Every ship that fell was a message to the invaders. Earth would not be conquered. Commander Williams watched the alien ships crumble before them, but she knew the fight wasn't over. The aliens still had their most powerful weapon, their robotic. Soldiers. They had been designed for one purpose, to destroy. "Brace yourselves," Sarah said, her tone grim. "They're sending in the bots." Across the battlefield, large pods began to drop from the alien ships. These pods contained the robotic soldiers' war machines built to slaughter anything in their path. They were programmed for one thing: destruction. The first wave of robots hit the ground with a deafening crash, their metal bodies twisting and shifting into lethal combat forms. Armed with plasma rifles and equipped with energy shields, they were a force to be reckoned with. But what the aliens didn't know was that Earth's forces had anticipated this move. They had a plan. As the robots advanced, Earth's forces launched their secret weapon, the pulse cannons. These weapons fired concentrated blasts of electromagnetic energy, enough to disable the robot circuits and halt them in their tracks. The first wave of robots fell, their systems short-circuiting and sparking as they collapsed in heaps of twisted metal. But the alien forces weren't done yet. The second wave of robots arrived, larger and more advanced, designed to adapt to Earth's tactics. They began to march forward, immune to the pulse cannons. It was clear that Earth's forces were outmatched in sheer numbers. "We need backup," Sarah said, urgency in her voice. "Prepare the ground forces for deployment." On Earth, humanity's final line of defense was about to be put to the test. The human resistance fighters, trained for just this moment, launched from the ground and headed toward the alien battlefield. Armed with advanced weapons and driven by an unwavering determination to protect their planet, they descended into the chaos. Each soldier was part of something much bigger than themselves, a symbol of humanity's resolve. The ground battle was brutal. Humans fought with everything they had. They pushed the alien robots back, using their resourcefulness and ingenuity to outmaneuver the advanced technology. But the invaders were relentless. The clash between the two sides seemed endless, with each step forward costing Earth precious lives. As the battle raged, Commander Williams knew the tide of war had shifted. The invaders had made a fatal mistake. They had underestimated humanity. Not only were the humans fighting to survive, but they were fighting to protect everything they held dear. The love for their families, their homes, their planet, it fueled every shot fired, every decision made, every sacrifice given. And as the battle stretched on, one thing became clear to the alien commanders. They had made a terrible error in judgment. Earth was not a weak, helpless planet. It was a force to be reckoned with, and they would soon learn that invading Earth was not a decision they could survive. With each passing moment, humanity's wrath became more and more apparent. The alien fleet, once so confident in their victory, was now crumbling under the weight of their own mistakes. The battle was far from over, but Earth was far from defeated. Humanity's fight had only just begun. Asterisk. Secrets unveiled the alien commanders were scrambling. Their once perfect plan had unraveled faster than they could adapt. The first wave of the robotic soldiers had been crushed under Earth's superior firepower, and their fleet had been torn apart by human ingenuity. The once imposing alien warships now drifted aimlessly, their crews reeling from the devastating losses. But the invaders weren't going to give up. They had another weapon, one they had kept hidden, something even the Council hadn't anticipated. The flagship of the alien fleet, Commander Azarian, the highest-ranking officer among the invaders, stood at the control panel. His silver armor gleamed, but his eyes were full of rage and disbelief. His hands clenched the metal, his mind racing. Earth's defenses had been stronger than anything he could have predicted. "Prepare the final weapon," he growled, his voice low and threatening. "We cannot let them defeat us." Back on Earth, Commander Sarah Williams was receiving reports of alien activity in space. But there was something different about the signals coming from the alien flagship. They weren't like the others. They were quiet, almost secretive. Sarah could feel a new threat building, a feeling of something worse coming, but she had no idea what. The human fleet was still pushing forward, but now there was a pause in the battle. The aliens had stopped attacking. Sarah knew it was only a temporary break, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something bigger was about to happen. "Report," she said, her voice sharp and commanding. She turned to her communications. "Officer, Commander, we've detected a strange energy signature from the alien flagship," the officer replied. "It's unlike anything we've seen before. It's growing." Sarah's heart sank. She had hoped the worst was over, but it seemed the true fight was only just beginning. Suddenly, the alien fleet came back to life. A massive shockwave erupted from the flagship, rippling through the fabric of space. The air around Earth seemed to hum with energy, and then the sky turned a deep crimson red. The chrono field, which had worked in Earth's favor, flickered and died as the aliens unleashed their final weapon. "What is that?" Sarah muttered under her breath. "This can't be happening." The alien weapon was far more dangerous than anything Earth had faced. It wasn't just a weapon of destruction. It was a weapon of control. The aliens had unleashed a mind-shattering force, one that bent reality itself, distorting the space around Earth. It wasn't just about firepower anymore. The invaders were now attempting to change the very laws of nature. On Earth, the effects were immediate. Cities began to tremble. Buildings swayed. Time itself seemed to warp and bend, twisting in unnatural ways. People on the streets saw their own reflections flicker and disappear. A few seconds would stretch into minutes, then snap back into mere fractions of a second. Some people froze in place, their bodies caught in time, while others moved forward at an impossibly fast pace. Everything was slipping out of control. "The weapon is destabilizing Earth's time field," the chief scientist on Sarah's ship reported urgently. "If we don't stop it soon, the entire planet could be trapped in an endless loop." Sarah's mind raced. How could they stop something like this? The aliens had calculated every possible countermeasure humanity had developed. Their weapon was designed to twist time, and once it took full effect, there would be no turning back. If Earth's forces couldn't counter this, they would lose everything. But then Sarah remembered something that had been buried in Earth's deepest files, long since thought to be lost. A technology older than any of the current defenses, a piece of knowledge they'd hidden away for just this kind of situation, not in the chaos of the early war. Earth had discovered remnants of a forgotten alien civilization, a race that had once manipulated time itself. These ancient artifacts had been collected, studied, and kept secret. But now they might be the key to surviving the alien weapon. "Prepare the chrono disruptor," Sarah ordered, her voice firm. The chrono disruptor was an experimental device designed to disrupt temporal anomalies. It had been kept a secret from the public, hidden away in Earth's deepest vaults. Its purpose uncertain until now. The device could be humanity's last hope dot inside a hidden facility in the heart of a mountain range. The chrono disruptor was activated. It hummed with energy, its core glowing as scientists worked furiously to align the device's frequency with the alien weapon's distortion. But as the scientists prepared to launch it, a horrifying realization struck. The chrono disruptor wasn't just a countermeasure. It could change the course of time itself, making its own set of rules. If activated incorrectly, it could tear apart the fabric of reality. Do it, Sarah ordered, unwilling to let fear dictate her actions. The device was launched, its energy cascading outwards toward the alien weapon. As the beam hit the alien, distortion, the time field around Earth began to flicker. The colors in the sky shifting wildly. The Earth, once again, was on the brink of being torn apart. But humanity had one final chance. As the chrono disruptor collided with the alien weapon's pulse, space itself seemed to collapse in on itself. There was a flash of brilliant light, a moment that felt both infinite and instant. For a moment, everything went silent. The war wasn't over, but for the first time, Earth had a fighting chance. Asterisk the final showdown. The battle was no longer just a fight for Earth's survival. It had become a cosmic struggle for the very fabric of reality itself. The alien weapon had been powerful too, powerful for anything humanity had ever encountered. But now, with the chrono disruptor activated, the tides of war were shifting, even if only slightly. The skies above Earth had turned a violent shade of purple, as if the heavens themselves were being twisted and distorted. The air hummed with the remnants of the energy pulse, and in the aftermath, Earth seemed to hold its breath, as if the planet itself was wondering whether it could survive this assault on time and space. Commander Sarah Williams didn't have the luxury of wondering. She was too focused on the moment. The alien fleet, now damaged and disoriented, was still recovering, their ships flickering in and out of time, their weapons malfunctioning, and their fleets divided. "This is our chance," Sarah said, her voice hard as steel, her eyes never leaving the battlefield. "We hit them now, with everything we've got." She turned to her crew, her orders clear. Activate the pulse wave cannons. Target their command ships. We need to cripple their ability to fight back. On Earth's surface, the devastation from the alien attack was starting to show. The ground was scarred with explosions, and many cities lay in ruins. Yet among the destruction, humanity's strength shone through. People had begun to rebuild, not just physically, but mentally. They were no longer afraid. The invaders had made one mistake. They had underestimated humanity's resolve. As the pulse wave cannons fired, streams of light shot through the air, cutting through the alien ships with surgical precision. Alien vessels began to break apart, their shields cracking under the relentless assault. One by one, they fell from the sky, their energy dissipating into nothingness. The alien commanders were in chaos. What had once been a perfect plan was now unraveling in the face of humanity's unexpected fury. Commander Azarian, the leader of the invaders, watched in horror as his fleet crumbled before him. His command bridge was filled with a sense of disbelief, but he refused to acknowledge defeat. Instead, he turned to his last resort, the ether cannon, a weapon so powerful it could rip apart entire planets. Activate the ether cannon, Azarian ordered through gritted teeth. His voice was cold, filled with anger and desperation. If we cannot conquer Earth, we will destroy it. The ether cannon, a massive weapon housed within the flagship, powered up. Its energy signature was unmistakable. Brilliant beams of energy began to form, and the ship itself seemed to crack under the force. It was an instrument of annihilation, and its target was Earth. The atmosphere around the alien ship shimmered with pure, deadly power. Earth's forces scrambled, knowing that this was no ordinary weapon. This could end everything. The alien fleet had reached the last stage of their invasion. Destroy Earth or be destroyed. As the ether cannon charged, Sarah's ship, the Valiant Fury, moved to intercept. "We can't let them fire," she said, her voice barely audible as her hands gripped the controls tightly. "We have to stop them, now." In space, the human ships maneuvered with desperate speed. The fleet fired every weapon at their disposal, but the alien defenses were still formidable. The ether cannon powered up, and a beam of pure destruction shot from the alien flagship, aimed directly at Earth. Time seemed to slow down. Sarah knew she had only one chance to stop the attack. Her crew, her ship, and all of humanity were counting on her to make this impossible shot. She braced herself. In a moment of reckless bravery, she ordered, "All ships, target the ether cannon now." Her voice was filled with unshakable determination. The human fleet responded instantly. Dozens of warships fired everything they had: concentrated energy blasts, antimatter missiles, and EMPs, all aimed directly at the heart of the alien weapon. For a brief second, it seemed as though the ether cannon would fire first. Then, everything exploded in a blinding flash of light. The human ships pushed forward, relentless in their assault. The ether cannon was struck. Its beams of destruction wavered, faltered, and then broke apart. The blast that was supposed to obliterate Earth instead backfired, the energy consuming the alien flagship in a catastrophic explosion. The ether cannon malfunctioned, causing a chain reaction that tore through the alien fleet. The battle was turning in humanity's favor. In the wake of the explosion, the alien fleet was reduced to fragments, floating through space like the remnants of a lost empire. The invaders, now scattered and broken, realized they had miscalculated. They had underestimated the humans' resolve, their ability to turn the tide even when facing impossible odds. But there was no time to celebrate. As the alien fleet disbanded, a larger, even more terrifying force arrived. Reinforcements from the Galactic Council. An armada far larger than anything Earth had ever seen. The Council had sent their best soldiers and commanders to finish what the first invasion had failed to do. The fight for Earth was far from over. "We've won this battle," Sarah said, her voice a mixture of exhaustion and resolve. "But the war is just beginning." The reckoning. The remnants of the alien fleet drifted in the void. Their once mighty ships now little more than shattered fragments, drifting aimlessly through the stars. The ether cannon, Earth's greatest threat, had been disabled, and humanity had emerged victorious, at least for the moment. But the victory felt hollow. The battle was far from over. And now, with the arrival of the Galactic Council's reinforcements, the war for Earth was about to take a new, far more dangerous turn. In the cold, endless stretch of space, the Council's fleet arrived, casting a shadow over the remaining human ships. It was an armada unlike any seen before: thousands of massive warships, each one bristling with weapons and carrying a fleet of advanced fighters. The Council's reinforcements had been dispatched with a single mission: to crush humanity once and for all. Commander Sarah Williams watched the holographic display, her face grim as she surveyed the incoming ships. "They're here," she whispered under her breath, barely able to believe the size of the approaching force. "This is it. The fight we've been preparing for." The Galactic Council, a powerful entity known throughout the galaxy for its relentless expansion and strict control, had watched humanity's rise with growing concern. Earth's unexpected resistance, coupled with their unique ability to adapt and survive, had drawn the Council's attention. Now, with their own fleets shattered, they were sending everything they had to put an end to humanity's rebellion. As the Council's ships approached Earth, the humans could feel the tension rise. The first wave of the alien fleet had been devastating, but the second wave was unlike anything they had faced. The Council's forces were seasoned, disciplined, and ruthless. They would not make the same mistakes as their predecessors. "Prepare for the worst," Sarah ordered, her voice calm, though her heart was racing. "Activate all defenses. We need to hold them off long enough to regroup." On Earth, the military was already mobilizing. The chrono disruptor, though successful in its previous use, had left Earth's own systems strained. Humanity's hidden fleets, though powerful, were far from invincible. They had dealt a crushing blow to the first wave, but they couldn't afford to be complacent. The Council's forces were here to stay, and they were more organized, more deadly, and more prepared. For war. As the first of the Council's ships came into range, Sarah's command center buzzed with activity. "Enemy ships entering range," one officer reported. "They're charging their weapons." The air in the command center thickened with the weight of impending destruction. Sarah's fingers tapped the console in front of her. There was a strange feeling in the pit of her stomach, an odd mixture of dread and defiance. Earth had already fought back once, and it had only made the Council more determined. But this time, there would be no room for hesitation. This time, Earth would either win or fall. The Council's ships fired first. Beams of energy shot out, streaking across space with terrifying speed. The human fleet retaliated with everything they had, launching missiles and energy blasts in a desperate attempt to stop the incoming fire. The first explosion lit up the sky, an alien ship taken out by Earth's retaliatory strike. But it wasn't enough. "They're too many," Sarah muttered, watching the Council's fleet grow closer, overwhelming their defenses. "We're outnumbered, outgunned, but we can't give up." As the battle raged on, Sarah's thoughts turned to the unexpected. What had happened in the first wave had shown her something crucial. The Council's forces, despite their overwhelming numbers, were vulnerable. They were predictable, their tactics rigid, focused solely on brute strength. But humans were different. Humanity had learned from each battle, adapted, and survived in ways the Council hadn't anticipated. "Send in the temporal shockwaves," Sarah ordered, referring to one of Earth's most dangerous, yet undiscovered. Weapons capable of briefly freezing portions of space and allowing Earth's forces to strike where the Council ships were weakest. It was a high-risk tactic, but one they had no choice but to use. The first shockwave was launched. In an instant, the Council's ships froze and time-locked in an eerie stillness that seemed to stretch on forever. It wasn't enough to destroy them, but it gave Earth's fleet the opening they needed. The temporal shockwaves allowed the human ships to pick off the frozen targets one by one. The Council's fleet was thrown into disarray, unable to react to the devastating blows. "Humanity is more than just its technology," Sarah said quietly to herself as she watched the attack unfold. "We fight with heart." But it wasn't over. The Council had more tricks up their sleeve, and their reinforcements weren't all they had sent. As the shockwaves subsided, Sarah could see the full scope of the Council's plan. An elite group of galactic warriors, genetically modified, to withstand the most extreme combat conditions, were now descending upon Earth's forces. They were known as the Void-born Deadly Warriors who had never lost a battle. Each one was more than just a soldier. They were living weapons, designed to kill. "They're sending in their elite fighters," an officer reported. "The Void-born." Sarah clenched her jaw. These were the ones the Council used for their final push, the last line of defense when all else failed. And this time, they weren't fighting to conquer. They were fighting to obliterate humanity's resistance, once and for all. "Prepare for close combat," Sarah said, standing tall. "We'll show them what Earth is truly capable of." The battle was about to reach its boiling point, and the fate of Earth was hanging by a thread. The Void-born were coming, and their reputation alone was enough to send chills down anyone's spine. But Sarah and her crew knew one thing. They would never give up. Earth was their home, and they would fight for it with everything they had. Asterisk. The dawn of a new era. The battle raged on. Earth's skies were filled with the deafening roar of conflict as the Galactic Council's reinforcements clashed against humanity's most advanced fleets. The Void-born warriors, genetically engineered for battle, descended like shadows upon Earth's soldiers. Their speed and precision were unmatched, and their presence alone sent waves of fear through the ranks of the human defenders. Yet humanity had already faced the unthinkable, and it had emerged stronger every time. Commander Sarah Williams stood on the bridge of the Valiant Fury, watching the chaos unfold. The alien fleet was immense, but Earth's forces, though vastly outnumbered, were fighting with a relentless ferocity that even the Council's elite warriors had never encountered. The shock waves of the battle echoed through space, sending ripples through the fabric of reality itself. And amidst it all, Sarah knew one thing. Humanity would not back down. Not now. Not ever. We can't hold them off forever, one of her officers said, his voice strained as the enemy forces continued to close in. Sarah's gaze never wavered. We don't need to hold them off forever. We just need to show them that Earth is not a prize to be taken. She turned toward the holographic map of the battle, her mind racing. The Voidborn were ruthless, but they were not invincible. The more they fought, the more they revealed their weaknesses. Humanity had always been able to adapt, to find a way when it seemed impossible. The Voidborn had never faced an enemy that could change the rules of war like Earth. Then it hit her. The Chrono Disruptor, the device that had turned the tide. In the first wave, the key to their success was not just in weaponry or brute force, it was in the element of surprise. The Voidborn might be genetically superior, but they lacked the one thing humanity had always had, the will to survive and the ability to adapt in the most dire of circumstances. Activate the Chrono Disruptor once more, Sarah ordered, her voice cutting through the tension. Let's give them a taste of their own medicine. The Chrono Disruptor had been the linchpin of Earth's survival so far, and now it would be humanity's final weapon in this war. Its power to manipulate time had already proven its worth. This time, they would focus it on the Voidborn, using their greatest strength speed against them. The device powered up, humming with raw energy, and with a sharp pulse, the battle around Earth began to distort. Time seemed to fracture, as the Voidborn warriors were caught in an inescapable loop. One moment, they were charging forward with deadly precision. The next, they were frozen in place. Their movements halted as the world around them moved in. Slow motion. Earth soldiers took advantage of the brief window, launching a counteroffensive against the now disoriented Voidborn. But this wasn't just a fight against the aliens. It was humanity's chance to show that they could defeat their greatest fears, even if it meant breaking the rules of time itself. Sarah watched as Earth's forces gained ground, taking down one Voidborn after another. Each victory, no matter how small, was a symbol of their defiance. They were no longer a planet of mere survivors. They were a force to be reckoned with. Yet, as the Voidborn struggled against the time distortions, something unexpected happened. The alien warriors adapted. Their genetically engineered bodies began to compensate for the time field, allowing them to move faster than ever before. The distortions couldn't hold them for long. They were learning, evolving, just as humans had. The time field began to weaken, and Sarah knew they couldn't rely on it forever. We need to end this now, she said, determination in her voice. The human fleet rallied together, their weapons and fighters launching with newfound strength. They were no longer just defending. They were fighting for their future, for every soul on Earth, and for every one of their ancestors who had fought to make this day possible. In the heart of the alien fleet, the Council's commanders watched in shock as their forces faltered, unable to comprehend the resilience of Earth. They had underestimated humanity, and now they were paying the price. This is impossible, one of the Council commanders muttered. How are they doing this? Azarian, the alien leader, stared at the holographic display, his face a mask of fury. His fleet, once poised to obliterate Earth, was now in disarray. His most powerful warriors were falling. His command ship was crippled, and his fleet was on the verge of collapse. It was a devastating realization. They had failed. As the final push from Earth's forces began, Sarah stood tall. The Council's last hopes were crumbling around them, and humanity was finally taking control of its destiny. With a final coordinated strike, Earth's warships moved in to finish the battle. The alien flagship, once the symbol of the Council's power, was now reduced to rubble, the last remnants of their invasion disintegrating in the void of space. Earth had not only survived the invasion, it had defeated the greatest military force in the galaxy. The war was over. Sarah watched as the alien fleet, now broken and leaderless, retreated into the darkness of space. Earth's defenders had won. The planet was safe. But the victory was bittersweet. Earth had paid a heavy price for its survival. Cities had been destroyed, lives had been lost, and the scars of the war would remain forever. But humanity had proven something important. No matter how overwhelming the odds, no matter how impossible the fight seemed, humanity would always rise. The day Earth had feared for centuries had come, and humanity had stood its ground. The world had fought back, not just to survive, but to build something greater. The story of Earth's resistance would be told for generations to come, not just as a tale of survival, but as the dawn of a new era. Asterisk